Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priya Kale, your astrologer. Saturn is now retrograde and we're entering a whole new chapter. And Neptune is about to station retrograde and a lot is happening. So we're going to get into it. But before we get into it, I do want to say apologies. I haven't been on here a bit, but a lot's been shifting in the sky and in my life. And I've been focusing a lot more on my consultations lately and deepening my spiritual practice with all the energy shifting. I've been really focusing on getting myself grounded and, focusing on my consultation. So on that note, if anyone's interested in a consultation, I'll leave the information below. And I'm also I've been working with clients I've been working with clients for 18 years, but since 2020, I've been working with clients monthly for an annual program which I call Inner Journey, and it's a natal chart immersive, and we move through your chart every month, tracking the sun and unpacking your chart and just diving deep into each house and all the planets in the house and the aspects, and really immersing into your chart as the sun travels around the zodiac, for a real life experience of understanding your chart and learning astrology simultaneously. So if anyone's interested in that, I still have a few spots open. Of course, given time restraints, I can only take a certain number of people, but I do have a few openings, and I'll leave information for that, link for that below. So if you're interested, do sign up as quickly as possible. And with that, we're going to get into Saturn's retrograde station. And really, this entire transit of Saturn in Pisces, we're coming up on a Neptune retrograde as well on the 2nd of July, depending on when you're watching this. And what's coming up now, with Saturn retrograde, Neptune about to station retrograde, there's an unveiling that's taking place, and it's like we're diving deeper. So with that, I'm just going to get into it. But thank you for watching, and if this is the first time you're watching, welcome. And if you're back, thank you for being here again. And if you haven't subscribed, I do hope you subscribe to the channel and stick around for more videos. And of course, leave me comments and feedback, and like the video if you do. It would help me as I build the channel. So thanks, and let's get into it. So Saturn has been in Pisces since March 7th, 2023. And since then, we've entered this new chapter of materializing a vision or a dream wherever we have Pisces in our chart. And if I have time, I'll run through the signs, but otherwise, contact me for a reading and we can get into it. But wherever you have Pisces in your chart, look at your sun sign and rising sign. We've been in the process of materializing a vision, and Saturn will be in Pisces until 2026, February 13th. And over 2025, it dips in and out of Aries, so we're beginning a phase of transition next year. Right now, Saturn's very much still in Pisces, and actually, depending on when you're watching this, over the next couple of days, actually tomorrow, Neptune stations retrograde at 29 Pisces, so that's another potent transit that's happening in the background of our lives, and this grand symphony really that's been playing in the background of our lives and continues to get louder as the year progresses. So I'll make a separate video about that because there's so much to dive into there as well. And for now, I'm going to stick to Saturn. But it's important to note that this influence is in play right now as Saturn stationed retrograde on the 29th. These dates down below, so even if you don't catch what I'm saying right now, you can refer to it there. On the 4th of November 2023, Saturn stationed direct. And since then, now this is the first time Saturn is stationing retrograde since the 4th of November. Since the 4th of November, we've been in the process of, in essence, building a bridge, materializing our dreams, solidifying our vision. Now, especially also look at what started to surface around the 23rd of March, because now Saturn is retrograde and will retrograde until the 15th of November. Saturn will be retrograde. And then it will station direct back at the point it was on the 23rd of March at 12 degrees of Pisces. So if you have planets around 12 degrees of Pisces, or Gemini, Virgo, it's the fourth sign, Sagittarius, pay attention, because you're going to feel this transit more personally. Also around 19 degrees of the mutable signs, or any of the mutable signs, really, you're going to feel this transit most powerfully when you have planets there. And mutable signs, this energy is very, it's quick moving, as the name suggests, mutable. They represent a change of the seasons. And Saturn now stationing retrograde, we're going deeper into situations that have been playing out since the 23rd of March. And this is a chance it's like a submarine that's going to the depths to discover the treasures and the trash that's at the bottom of the ocean. And then there's a deep cleansing process that's underway. So we can release the past and release any toxic influences, negative influences, and anything that's draining us, and plug leaks. And really and of course explore the treasures as well, and explore the territory on a deeper level that we've been traveling through since the 23rd of March, when Saturn entered shadow phase. So to understand what's really going on, let's talk about Saturn for a minute. Saturn is the planet of limits, of boundaries, of time itself, gateways, and of mortality. It represents this material plane which is full of suffering and strife and struggle. Saturn is the teacher of this solar system, and Jupiter is the other teacher. Jupiter teaches through expansion, Saturn teaches through discipline and limits and boundaries. So Saturn is the father figure. Sometimes Saturn's lessons can feel restrictive or feel limiting, but ultimately, if we can think of it, Saturn's lessons not as punitive, but as protective, and ultimately meant to strengthen us. So with Saturn now moving retrograde, we're also learning inner reserves of strength, and we're finding inner resilience and reconnecting with an inner sense of purpose, and realigning with our true goals and our integrity. Saturn represents our integrity. Let's talk about Pisces for a minute. Pisces is, as opposed to Saturn, it's very opposite energy, because if Saturn speaks of limits and boundaries, Pisces energy is boundless and infinite, and represents cosmic consciousness and divinity and music and magic and mystical experiences and transcendence and creativity and psychic senses, our intuition. So these are two very opposite energies, but with Saturn in Pisces, this is a chance to really bottle the magic and to harness this Piscean energy, which is otherwise so vast and nebulous at times. With Saturn here, at best, if we don't allow ourselves to stagnate, and now with Saturn moving retrograde, it's clearing that stagnant energy so that we can allow and open the gates and doors to a fresh flow of abundance and prosperity and creativity and real unconditional love. Because Pisces speaks of that unconditional love which surrounds us and which is the fabric of this existence, really. I mean, this entire universe is just vibration. And the essence of that vibration is this unconditional love that is Pisces, or what we call God. Not what we know of God, but what God is an experience. And that's why Pisces represents that sense of intuition. On the other side, because if you think of Pisces symbol, it's the two fish swimming in opposite directions. One fish is swimming up towards light and enlightenment, and the other fish is swimming downwards into the world of Maya, an illusion and fantasy. And this material world is the Maya, where when we get caught up in our materialistic desires, that's when we start to sink, or that ship starts to sink. It's Saturn in Pisces ultimately is teaching us lessons of unconditional love and to really immerse ourselves in our spiritual practices and to become that pure vessel and channel for the divine, which is what we are. My Amma, my Guru, she always, refers to us or speaks to us as embodiment of divine souls. And it's true, that's what we are. It's now we're in this process of awakening and realizing our divinity at best. But so Saturn's lessons ultimately, can be sometimes heavy because Saturn can represent that sense of a wall or a weight. But ultimately, Saturn's lessons are sent to soften us and to deepen our sense of compassion and empathy, especially in Pisces, rather than harden us. So now as Saturn stations retrograde, there's a sense of unveiling that's happening as well, where we're peeling back the layers to see what's at the depths of situations. In relationships, this is a chance to heal and build bridges where needed, and to heal the past, to cleanse the past, to also, readjust your boundaries and look at where it's like lowering a drawbridge, where in the past maybe you had to keep a certain level or wall up or guard up to protect yourself or to keep a safe limit from something. Now with Saturn being retrograde, it's like before we can move any further, there's a need to take a step back and really absorb everything that we've been experiencing, or really take in the territory that we've been moving through right now, or lower that drawbridge so we can invite in, greater support, whether it's financial, emotional, material, in our relationships, and our ability to share the love we feel and receive love as well, importantly. Because Pisces ultimately, this unconditional love, we get attached to where it comes from and who it comes from, when in reality, God's love, whether you or not you believe in God, this universal love is abundant, and grace is abundant and always showering down on us. It's just a matter of us being open and receptive to it. And with Neptune now at 29 Pisces, believe it or not, God's love is infinite and grace abounds right now. So it really is a matter of us being able to dissolve our, self-limiting boundaries and let go of conditioning that prevents us from receiving the support that we desire and need. Also in this chart for Saturn's retrograde station, Venus is approaching a trine to Saturn, and Mercury is approaching a trine to Neptune, both of which will be exact on the 2nd of July when Neptune stations retrograde. Relationships, Venus rules our relationships, finances, creativity, love, matters of, all matters of the heart. So, and Venus, the Sun, Mercury are currently moving through Cancer, and we're moving to a new moon in Cancer. So this sense of relationships are really deepening now, and we're maybe shape-shifting even. Maybe some are moving to a deeper level, others are transmuting into something else. But there is a sense of, at best, as we, allow ourselves to slowly lower our walls, we can allow in the support that we need. Again, financially, creatively, materially, there's a sense of feeling anchored. Not just around this transit, but this is seeding the entire retrograde transit until the 15th of November. So this is a chance to plug leaks financially as well. Things are stabilizing, but this is a good chance to reflect on your goals, because Saturn represents our goals. And then we can make adjustments and look at where it's about our needs rather than our wants. Not to say that we can't have what we want, but be willing to look at where you need to cut back perhaps, or where you need to rechannel your resources and energy so you can make the most of it. This is Cancer season. What we feed will grow, and this is this takes place in the waning cycle of the moon. So there's a need to clear out the past before something new can completely come in. Also, Mercury is trine Neptune at this time, and Neptune is stationary about to retrograde. So this is very trust your intuition through this time as well, and allow it to guide you. For that, Pisces is considered a mute sign. I mean, think of fish. Fish don't speak. When it comes to relationships, money, creativity, it's like we're finding deeper levels of resilience and depths within our connections as well. Take time to reflect on what you're bringing to the table in your connections and what you need, and what ultimately recognize that no one is responsible for our needs. And we really don't need very much. I mean, if you're watching this video, it's likely that your basic needs are taken care of. Food, shelter, and water. But there are plenty in this world who don't even have that much. Ultimately, what we're learning with Saturn and Pisces is this energy of God or divinity, is to learn to trust in existence and to, again, be open to that grace and believe that we're worthy of that grace. And ultimately, there's nothing that we could do to receive that grace, because that grace is so beyond benevolent. But the only thing that we can do is be humble enough. And that means being humble enough to receive the support that's available around us and not blocking it off. Saturn also teaches lessons of humility. So, whatever's going on right now, there's a need to be humble. So then you can learn the truth and learn information and allow yourself to be guided. With, again, Mercury trine Neptune, we're coming to deep realizations and deep truths. And there's a need for honest communication. The sunlight is changing. It's afternoon here. So I can't control that. But we're learning deep truths, and there's a need to be honest with yourself about, beyond anything, and be in no denial. This is an unveiling. The only thing is, us thinking that we have no choice in the matter. When now, if we look at the ruler of Pisces, Jupiter, traditional ruler, Neptune is the modern ruler. So it makes sense that, Neptune retrograde is also an unveiling, but Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, and Jupiter is currently in Gemini. And I have recorded a video for Jupiter and Gemini, but I haven't been able to edit it, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just do a new one. Side note. But Jupiter is currently in Gemini, so if in any respect you're sensing a sense of lack or feeling like you're touching rock bottom in any situation, life is teaching us through contrast as well right now. And we're learning the power of our mind to create our reality with all the aspects that are happening in the sky. So, number one, develop a spiritual practice if you don't have one already. And it doesn't have to be you sitting at your altar, although that would be great. And meditation is ideal in being able to quiet the mind. So if you can, please do cultivate a meditation practice. But otherwise, even yoga or anything that brings you into that zone where the mind is quiet, then you're going to start to hear your inner voice guiding you. Then it's a matter of training our minds to focus on our blessings and our abundance and all the things that we have to be grateful for, rather than allowing the mind to run the show and focus on where there is a lack. Because with Saturn's a Saturn speaks of time. So whatever's unfolding now, there's an element of divine timing. Not element, it's all about divine timing. And understanding that life is a process. You're not, we couldn't, and with the sun in Cancer, it's like you can't eat all the food for all of your life in one meal in one day. It's portioned out for the rest of your life. So you want 2-3 meals a day for the rest of your life. You don't want all of your meals today and then nothing later. It doesn't have to be feast or famine. So that Jupiter in Gemini, the ruler of the Pisces, it's teaching us through contrast. So if you're experiencing any sense of extreme emotion or sense of lack or a void in any sense, try to calm the mind and bring yourself back to the present moment and recognize that this life is a journey, and things are unfolding in divine timing right now, and we just have to trust that. Pisces speaks of devotion, and Saturn speaks of that discipline, and Saturn in Pisces is about having that dedication or devotion to materializing a dream, yes, but also, with Saturn retrograde, recognize that source of magic and, is within. So the more we can tap into that and stay anchored in that inner unchanging reality, then the external material reality, this Maya, of Pisces, need not affect you when there's, life has its ebb and flows. So then you need not feel sucked in and crashed by, feel the waves crashing on you. There can be a sense of steady and anchoring in that inner reality, and knowing that, okay, life is always changing, but it is a journey ultimately. And that ultimate journey is a journey of self-realization, of which is a physical experience and not even just a mental or a spiritual experience. So anyway, I don't want to digress too much, but this Saturn in Pisces at its deepest essence is our spiritual lessons. So if you really want to go deep with this transit, move beyond the surface of what's happening in your life, especially in the area ruled by Pisces, and pay attention to the spiritual lessons that you're learning. This is about our spiritual growth, nothing else. And the deeper we can dive to, stay anchored in our integrity, then we needn't feel like we're cast away, drifting on an endless sea with no direction. In relationships, honest communication is important. Everything is negotiable. It starts with being honest with yourself, then you can be honest with others, and communication can really flow. And we could be surprised with the depth in our connections right now. Or at the very least, we're learning the connections that we can actually lean on and count on, and the ones that we've outgrown. So move through this process with as much awareness as possible, because and if you know something isn't working for you, then pay attention to where you need to, plug any leaks, so you're not continuing to pour good energy down a drain. And you can pour your time, money, love, energy, resources into what replenishes you and feeds you. This is not to say that you don't have compassion and you don't give, it's not our place to judge if someone is worthy or not. But at the same time, we have a finite level of time in the day. So it's up to us to decide where we want to pour our energy. That said, Saturn also speaks of those long-term goals. So in relationships and financially, creatively, clarify your goals, clarify your vision. And we don't have all the answers. We never do. But clarify your vision then, and be humble. Then you can be open to learning what you need to know and can make adjustments and readjustments as time unfolds and as more is revealed to you. In all respects, keeping that flow of communication is important. That said, a lot of this communication may be psychic, intuitive. Listen to your own intuition. But where possible, there's a need for clarity. So where possible, there's nothing replaces clear heart-to-heart communication. And definitely, there's a need for us to follow our hearts and to trust our hearts, because with that Venus trine Saturn, that's where we're going to find a sense of anchoring, and then recognize that ultimately it's important that we learn to fill our own cup, because that the lasting happiness or bliss that we seek can only be found within. Everything external is always changing, and even the best of relationships, someday we're all going to die. So it's about cherishing and treasuring our moments here in the flesh, and allowing ourselves to experience the love that we feel and share the love that we feel, because then it'll live on through eternity. So we are now in a process of deepening bonds that transcend the time and space even. And so it's also important to look at the toxic cycles or, ancient patterns that we're releasing, so we don't continue those cycles, and we can actually consciously invite something new into our world. Even financially, with Venus trine Saturn, there can be, as I said, we're looking at where we can plug leaks and look at needs and wants and manage our resources better, which includes our time and all of that. But what I'm trying to get at is Pisces is the great void. It's the great void of creation, out of which everything is born. So even if in any sense, in any resource, whether it's love, support, money, you're sensing lack, coming back to that Jupiter in contrast, there's endless depth here. We're learning, discovering new levels of depth, and this is happening right now. So trust that journey of discovery and of diving deeper, and there's magic that abounds here right now. What's needed is our faith in our ability to bring something into being. And the dream you have right now is not just your dream, but it's the universe's dream for you. It's a matter of us now, if you're not enjoying a dream, or if you're not enjoying an experience, then it's a chance to reshape your life more consciously. And in a sense, we get a chance to rewrite history and wipe the past clean, because in reality the past doesn't exist, and neither does the future. That's that Saturn, which is the cross of matter, and the crucifix that makes us feel like we're stuck in this time bound reality, when in reality we are infinite beings. Yes, we are in this mortal frame, which one day will return to dust, but the soul lives on through eternity, and the only thing that we carry with us is really the wisdom of the lessons that we've learned, and which is our soul growth and the love we've shared. So if you can keep bringing yourself back to that reality within, then trust that everything else that you need will come to you. The support that you need will come to you, almost magically so. And last but certainly not least, Mars is currently in Taurus, and of course Taurus is Venus's ruling sign, so this plugs into this entire chart. And Mars is the ruler of the North Node in Aries, and that's significant because that's the driving force to our destiny. And at the time of just before Saturn station retrograde, Mars was sextile Venus. So, and then of course now Venus is trine Saturn, Mars will sextile Saturn approaching. So there is that real sense of love, support, not just unconditional love, but tangible love and emotional support, and a sense of finding that nourishment and nurturing in our connections and in our relationships and in our bonds, which again shows us the bonds that we can actually lean on and the ones that we're now leaving behind, or we've outgrown, or without fearing, we don't need to fear losing anyone or anything we love. All relationships change shape and form. It's a matter of us allowing for time to do its thing. And if this is a healing process that you're in, whether in a relationship or, within yourself even, the same thing goes. The love and the support and the resources and the money and everything that we need is present. It's a matter of now us finding our center again and getting anchored within ourselves and our integrity, and what's real, and realigning with a soul mission as Saturn moves retrograde. Then by the 15th of November, when Saturn will return to the point that it was on the 23rd of March. So yeah, look back at what was going on then. Then once Saturn stations direct, we'll be moving ahead again and building our dreams. Now it's more about strengthening the inner layers and plugging leaks and deepening our understanding of the potential that's already present before we go any further, and where we need to clear space so we can make room for the future that we're building. So with Mars in Taurus, sextile Venus, this is very also sensual, sexual energy. We're clarifying a dream. Pay attention to your goals so you can ask yourself, what's driving you forward. Be true to yourself and your values, and avoid hungering for just material wealth and material desires. This is a chance to go deeper than that and find something that fulfills us on a soul level, not just on a physical level. Although we can have the physical pleasures and material pleasures as well, and material prosperity and money as well, but all the money in the world would not ultimately satisfy us. Otherwise, there wouldn't be those depressed millionaires in the world, and there wouldn't be saints who are sitting on the side of the street with nothing but a loincloth on, but in ultimate bliss. So life is asking us to move beyond this illusion of reality and to really tap into what makes us happy on a heart and soul level, and the relationships that really see and appreciate us for who we are, not just what we look like or what we can give them, but who respect and love and appreciate us for who we are and value us for who we are. And similarly, us bringing the same thing to the table. And, so with Mars and Taurus also, look at what's driving you. Is it fear or anger or, the more shadow emotions of Mars? Like, are you being impulsive? Or are you being driven by, a sense of desire and curiosity and a genuine need to build something? And are we being creative with this energy? How are we creating our lives consciously and giving shape to our life and dreams consciously? If you say you love someone, then, love is an action, not just a word. So are we treating the people we love with love? Because often the people that are closest to us are the ones that we rub up against the most and we have the most friction with, or the people that we're in closest contact with that we, can test our ego or test our patience rather, with Mars and Taurus, sorry. So life is helping us to really smooth our edges and soften us as we recognize the love, support, and creativity and magic that's available around us. It's a matter of us now having the vision to see it. And, like my Amma says, good eyes are the ones, not just what they look like, but good eyes are the ones that see the good in others. And bad eyes are the ones that always find fault in others. So if we're going to find fault, as she says, you'll find fault in everything. But the real lesson is to how can we find the beauty in the world around us, even in the darkest of places. Can we find beauty there? Or then how can we shift our focus towards something that fills us with a greater sense of fulfillment and beauty, because otherwise, we can chase all the success and dreams in the world. They'll ultimately leave us hungering for more and feeling hollow. So, no relationship for relationship's sake or money for money's sake is going to satisfy that soul hunger or desire, So tap into that now, stay anchored in that, and then you can find a way to navigate your way forward and draw into your world whatever you desire, whoever you desire, and deepen the connections and bonds that really support you and that you can lean on and that stand that test of time and space, and that you can really be yourself with. So, and of course, we're discovering those new levels and depths of resilience and abundance and potential within ourselves as well, wherever we have Pisces in our chart. So move in awareness and have faith that whatever you've dreamed for yourself, the universe has dreamed bigger and better. So with that, I'll stop here for now, but I was going to do a run through for the 12 signs, but you know what, I'm just going to leave it here for now. And if you want to get into what this means for your sign and how this is going to play out for you in your chart specifically, then definitely contact me for a reading, and I would love to work with you. I'll leave all my details below. But thank you so much for watching and being here, and I'm sending you love wherever you are, and I'll be back with you. Well, do sign up and subscribe to the channel and like the video if you did, but I'll be back with you with more very soon. Thanks for watching. Love and namaste.